Real Madrid are corrupt. I'm going to say it here and I'm going to say it loud and clear. Real Madrid are corrupt. How the hell did they get away with that? How the hell did they get away with that? Let's jump right into this. Mando Football is back. What's going on, people? Of course, like, comment, and subscribe on the video as usual because Champions League is back. Mando Football is back. And of course, keeping you updated on today's first fixtures. Today, Real Madrid 2, Marseille 1, Arsenal 2, Athletic Bilbao, or Athletic Club, as they like to go by now, 0. Tottenham 1 over, I don't even know who they played today. I have no clue who they played. I can't think off the top of my head. But Juventus against Dortmund. Bellissima football match. Bellissima. 4-4, as they say in Italy. What a game. What an astounding first day of Champions League football. Of course, let's get right into it. Arsenal, the first game that played today. Arsenal 2, Athletic Bilbao 0. First of all, what a game. Great game by the Gunners. Great game by not only just Arsenal, but Athletic. Put respect on that coach's name. He is one of the coaches that goes under the radar and is very overlooked in football. He knows how to coach a team. I remember him at Barcelona. He was one of the best coaches around in La Liga. And I think Valencia as well. He might be the Valencia coach prior to that. But he set up tactically perfect against Arsenal today. Arsenal had a few bold players in that midfield. Declan Rice with Zubamendi and Mikel Merino. We saw what that midfield is capable of. But if you really look at the game and the way the team was played, there was something not gelling too well, especially in the first 25 minutes of the game. It just seemed like Arsenal were off the pace and we're not quite at the level that you would expect them to be, especially going against Athletic Club, who were a great team defensively. They set up in a 4-4-2. They set up very well in order to really negate Arsenal's midfield and build up for sure. Nico Williams is injured, as we know, because of the international duty with a groin injury. So Athletic Bilbao had a lot not going for themselves going into this game. But let me just say this, though. They set up brilliantly against Arsenal. They set up very well. They stopped a lot of the opportunities and the chances that were created for Arsenal. But with that being said, though, Arsenal still continued to make chances for themselves. Victor Gyökeres had a few chances. He got stitched up. Yo, let me say something. He got stitched up by Gabriel. Stitched up. Like, he was going for a header, and Gabriel clashed him in the back of the head, and he looked like he got elbowed to the head like in the UFC. You can clearly see the deep cut in the back of his head, deep into the skin, and he had to get stitched up wearing a bit of a headband around his neck, not his neck, his forehead, to really get all around his skull. Man is looking like Madueke. Looking like Noni Madueke with that headband on. But yeah, going into later into the half, there were more chances created by Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres still made some chances for himself. A lot of people are saying he didn't play a good game, but from what I saw of the first half, he definitely put in some good chances. He could have been better with the ball at his feet, but he's not that sort of striker. But he created chances for himself and opportunities, and I think he is still gelling with Arsenal, but there's still chances that he's taking and he's scoring, and he seems very resilient, and he seems like a player that's a man on a mission at Arsenal right now, and that's really good signs. Going into the second half, I think Arsenal got picked up with speed more so than not. But again, Athletic Bilbao did an excellent job defensively. Vivian, I thought, was brilliant. Did a very good job against Arsenal in the second half until, of course, the substitutions came on. Martinelli comes in for about 36 seconds, they said, and he scores. Leandro Trossard comes in and he makes a difference. right? Victor Gyökeres comes off, which I thought was a good idea by Mikel Arteta. You know, he has a head injury. He still kept going, but there's a bigger game on Sunday against Manchester City. And, you know, it was an all-around good performance by Arsenal. You know, when things are not going right for the first team that started, that's when substitutions have to come on. And that's why they have such a great team right now with the depth that they have for players to come in and make an impact. So that was that. The Real Madrid game against Marseille. Let me tell you something. I started off the video, and let me explain why this is corrupt. But before I get into that, though, the game itself, right? The game itself. To be honest, I did not see the first half. I was actually at the gym at the time, so I got home a little bit late. But what I do know for sure is that the first true American man, Timothy Weah, scores his first goal at the Santiago Bernabeu to be the first ever American to score at the Santiago Bernabeu. It's about damn time that somebody does that in red, white, and blue. He scores the first goal to open up the game, and then Mbappe gets a penalty, which was very controversial. But let's be real. Was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? We don't know, right? So it's 1-1. Kylian Mbappe puts it away. Gets his 49th goal for Real Madrid in all competitions. Second half was kind of dead. Not really anything is going. Aubameyang gets a great strike on goal, was saved by Courtois. You would not believe that Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is still playing for football and playing for Marseille. Mason Greenwood was on the pitch. We know how talented he is. Yeah. Comes on, and not much is really going on. But then, of course, Vinicius Jr. comes in. He gets past one, gets past two, but then an excellent tackle was made by the Marseille defender. Excellent tackle. Oh, actually, before I get into that, actually, there was a red card, which was very controversial. But if you look, it's a clear red card on Carvajal. He's getting into it with the goalkeeper from Marseille, and he just headbutts him. They go head to head, and he just heads him, you know, completely headbutts him himself intentionally into the keeper to try to start some shit for no reason. And someone like Dani Carvajal, we absolutely know how experienced he is. He has 6 Champions League trophies with Real Madrid, and you come in and you do some shit like that. You are the captain of Real Madrid. You're the captain of the Merengues, and that is what you pull in the first game of the Champions League, and now you can't even play the next game. And if it is that serious of a red card, you might not play the next 3 games. I don't know if that rule still applies. I know it applies in the Premier League. But in the Champions League, you will not play in the next game. And that might be a big blow for them, right? So he gets a red card. The referee has to go to the VAR to see what happened because he clearly didn't see it himself. And he comes back with an obvious red card, of course. And you can say that the goalkeeper went down a little too easy. But, of course, when you get headbutt in the game, that's what's going to happen. And so that is pretty much all that needs to be said about that. Going later into the game, yeah, in the 80th minute, Vinicius Jr., like I said before, gets past 1, gets past 2, and then an excellent tackle was made on Vinicius Jr., or maybe it was Kylian Mbappe, who knows, but it was his hand that got in the way after he made the challenge, and he couldn't do anything about it. His hands is by his side. What's he supposed to do? Cut off or amputate his hands? That's obviously not going to happen. And he makes a great tackle, but the referee sees that it hit his hand. There's no other way that he could not get his hand to touch the ball. And the referee delivers a penalty to Madrid, and Kylian Mbappe just scores. And I mean just scores because the goalkeeper did not make the save. And I think it's complete bullshit. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think it's complete bullshit. There's no shot that was a penalty. There's no shot. Anybody that watched that game knows that wasn't a penalty. I mean, that is one of the most shocking decisions I've seen in a long time. But it's no surprise. This is at the Bernabeu. This is Real Madrid at its finest. It was a 1-1 game. They had a lot of chances going for themselves in the first half. They played well. Don't get me wrong, Madrid. But, of course, it's 1-1, and you want to see the game played fairly. That is not the agenda. That is not on the sheet. That's not on the meal plan for Real Madrid whatsoever. So I think it's just very disappointing for Marseille to go out like that. There was another incident where a shot was taken, and I think it was Militao. The ball hit Militao's arm, but his arm was braced to his body. He tried to bring his arm into his body, so he didn't intentionally use his hand, and it may have hit his elbow, but it clearly wasn't a penalty because, like I said, it was close to his body, and he wasn't trying to use his hand or his arm to block the save, block the shot, I should say. And yeah, I mean, it's just same old thing with Real Madrid. It's just ridiculous at this point. And so they won the game 2-1, but a classic game. I wish I was able to see this as well. The Borussia Dortmund against Juventus. That was a absolute classic by both teams. It seemed like this game was going to go on forever, but Dusan Vlahovic coming back as a striker. If anyone knows football well, you know how good Dusan Vlahovic was at his very best when he first came to Juventus and when he was at Fiorentina. This is an excellent player on his day, and today was his day. Today was his day. He came in clutch multiple times today. Yildiz. Yo, let me talk to you about this guy, Yildiz, bro. There is a reason why Bayern Munich want their boy back, because he was in their academy. This, brother, is the truth. This guy is the truth. Yildiz, what a sensational strike. And he only scores bangers. He only scores bangers. He's reminding me that of Coutinho a little bit. These goals that he's scoring, he's reminding me of prime Felipe Coutinho at Liverpool, bro. This guy is the truth. And I'm telling you right now, he almost scored another one, but it hit the post. I think the keeper made a good save, and then it ricocheted off of the post. But this brother is cold, and he's young as well. He's about my age. So he's very, very good. I'm very excited to see what this guy can do in the Champions League for sure. I wish I can see him week in, week out. This guy is cold, man. But yeah, Dortmund kept going through. Juventus kept pinning on. And in the very dying moments of the game, Juventus punished Dortmund. Trying to play very itsy bitsy at the back with the ball. Just clear it. And 2 goals were scored in the middle in the last 10 minutes of the game. Even in stoppage time, there was a goal scored. So that is literally the standard that's in the Champions League. And for Tottenham, they scored an own goal. I didn't even bother watching the game. They played a nobody anyway. So, I think they played Villarreal, and they scored an own goal, Villarreal, and they won 1-0. So there's pretty much nothing that needs to be said about that. But other than that, though, that is the first day, the Tuesday night of the Champions League games. Arsenal against Bilbao was 2-0. Excellent masterclass by the super subs that came in, Martinelli and Trossard. Real Madrid scraped their way through past Marseille. Unlucky for Marseille, but Mbappe doing what he does best, of course. 2 penalties, 50 goals for the man already at Real Madrid. And a Juventus Dortmund masterclass showdown. Love to see it. Want to see that each and every single week. And let's get ready for tomorrow, because Bayern Munich versus Chelsea is going to be a thriller. I bet that Bayern will win that game. I don't see Chelsea coming out with a victory based on the way they've been playing. And Bayern have been absolutely cooking. So let's see what happens there. Newcastle against FC Barcelona at St. James Park. That's going to be something else. But I think Barcelona are going to come out on top. They just have a completely better team all around than Newcastle. But Newcastle are very strong physically, and that's going to be a showdown, and it's going to be a dogfight, and that's what Barcelona cannot cope with if it's going to be like that. So let's see what happens. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting, excellent day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good night.